The curry brands sitting in millions of British kitchen cupboards contain more sugar, salt, and industrial thickener than actual spice. I spent 3 weeks investigating 8 of the most trusted names on supermarket shelves, and what I found on those ingredient lists was worse than I expected. Today, I am taking you through exactly what is in these jars, why it matters for your health, and which 2 brands you can actually trust. Starting at number 8, we have Home Pride curry sauce. Home Pride has been in British kitchens since the 1960s, and the brand carries the kind of familiarity that bypasses scrutiny. People buy it because they have always bought it, because their parents bought it, because the label feels like part of the furniture. But examine what is actually inside, and the familiarity starts to feel less like comfort and more like complacency. The first ingredient in Home Pride curry sauce is water, not tomatoes, not onions, not any of the aromatics that form the base of a genuine curry. Water. The second ingredient is tomato paste, which sounds reasonable until you reach the third, which is sugar. A single jar of Home Pride curry sauce contains up to 18 grams of sugar. That is 4.5 teaspoons of sugar in a savory dinner sauce. The NHS recommends adults consume no more than 30 grams of free sugars per day. 1 jar of Home Pride takes you more than halfway to that limit before you have added rice, bread, or anything else to the meal. The spice content is minimal. The heat and depth you associate with curry is not coming from a carefully constructed spice blend. It is coming from sugar, salt, and modified maize starch, working together to create a flavor impression that your brain recognizes as curry adjacent without any of the actual complexity that real spices deliver. One food writer described Home Pride curry sauce as a stock cube dissolved in sugary tomato soup. That is not an unfair characterization. It is an accurate description of what the ingredient list produces. At number 7, we have Sharwood's Tikka Masala sauce. Sharwood's has been selling Indian-inspired products in the UK since 1889, and that heritage is central to its marketing. The brand presents itself as an authority on Indian cuisine, a trusted guide to authentic flavors. But Sharwood's Tikka Masala sauce contains rapeseed oil as its primary fat source, added not for flavor, but because it is one of the cheapest oils available at industrial scale. The cream content, which should be the defining characteristic of a tikka masala, is listed after the modified starch. That means there is more industrial thickener in this sauce than there is actual dairy. The salt content is 1.3 grams per 100 grams. A standard jar is 420 grams. Use the whole jar across a family meal, and you are adding over 5 grams of salt to the dish before you have seasoned anything yourself. For women over 45, for whom blood pressure management becomes increasingly important, that sodium load is not a minor consideration. It is a genuine health concern repeated every time this jar appears on the dinner table. The spice blend is real, but it is minimal, present in quantities that satisfy the label requirement rather than the flavor requirement. Sharwood's is not selling you Indian cooking expertise. It is selling you the story of Indian cooking expertise while delivering an industrially produced sauce that prioritizes shelf life and margin over authenticity and nutrition. Number 6 is Patak's original tikka masala paste and sauce. Patak's deserves particular attention because it occupies a unique position in this investigation. Founded in 1956 by an Indian immigrant family, Patak's built its reputation on genuine recipes and quality spice blends. For decades, it was the gold standard, the brand that actually understood what it was making. But in 2007, Patak's was acquired by Associated British Foods, the conglomerate that owns everything from Primark to Twinings. And the trajectory since that acquisition follows a pattern that will be familiar to anyone who has watched a beloved independent brand absorbed into a corporate portfolio. The spice content has reduced. The ingredient list has lengthened. The number of modified starches, stabilizers, and flavor enhancers has increased. A jar from the 1990s listed spices as the second or third ingredient. The modern version lists them considerably further down, after water, tomato, and multiple thickening agents. The salt content has increased. The oil used has shifted toward cheaper alternatives. One customer who has been buying Pataks for 30 years described the change precisely. She said it used to taste like the curry her Indian neighbors made. Now it tastes like a British approximation of that curry. That distinction between the real thing and a British approximation of the real thing is exactly what has happened to Pataks under corporate ownership. The name carries the authority of the founding family. The product no longer reflects their standards. At number 5, we have Tesco Finest Tikka Masala sauce. The finest range is Tesco's premium tier, the products they position as superior in quality and worth the additional cost. The packaging is more sophisticated. The language is more considered. Words like authentic, rich, and carefully crafted appear prominently. But examine the ingredient list, and you find the same industrial formula that underpins every other mass-produced curry sauce on this list. Water, tomato, modified starch, rapeseed oil, sugar, salt, and a spice blend that is present in quantities too small to deliver the flavor complexity the packaging promises. The cream content is 4%. In a tikka masala, cream is not a garnish. It is a structural ingredient that defines the texture, the richness, and the flavor balance of the dish. 4% cream in a tikka masala sauce is a token gesture. The rest of the creaminess is achieved through starch and oil. Multiple customers have reported inconsistency between batches, with some jars tasting acceptable and others tasting flat and oversalted. That inconsistency is itself a quality control failure that no premium product should exhibit. You are paying a premium for a label, not for a meaningfully better product. Tesco knows that most shoppers will not compare the finest ingredient list against the standard range. The gap between the two is smaller than the price difference implies. Coming in at number 4, we have Asda Extra Special Tikka Masala Sauce. Asda's premium line follows the same playbook as Tesco's finest, with one additional layer of frustration. The Extra Special range is priced at a significant premium above Asda's standard curry sauces, but independent analysis of both ingredient lists reveals them to be almost identical in composition. The same base of water, tomato paste, and modified starch. The same rapeseed oil. The same minimal spice content. The primary difference between Asda's standard curry sauce and its extra special curry sauce is the jar design and the marketing language. The cream content in the extra special version is marginally higher, but not by a margin that justifies the price differential. What Asda is selling with the extra special label is the feeling of having made a better choice, not the reality of having made one. That gap between feeling and reality is where supermarket premium ranges make their money, and it is a gap built entirely on the assumption that you will not read the label carefully enough to notice. At number 3, we have Uncle Ben's Sweet Curry Sauce. Uncle Ben's, now rebranded as Ben's Original, has reformulated multiple times over the past decade without meaningfully improving the product. Their sweet curry sauce is among the most nutritionally compromised products in this entire investigation. The sugar content is 14 grams per 100 grams. That is not a misprint. 14 grams of sugar per 100 grams in a savory sauce. A standard jar contains enough sugar to represent a significant proportion of your daily free sugar allowance in a single meal. The texture is achieved through a combination of modified starch and xanthan gum. The spice content is so low that the word curry on the label is doing considerable work. Multiple reviewers describe the sauce as tasting like a sweet tomato sauce with a vague warmth rather than anything that resembles actual curry. The sodium content is also high, which means this product delivers the worst of both worlds. It is simultaneously high in sugar and high in salt, a combination that creates a flavor profile your brain finds compelling while delivering a nutritional outcome that your body has to work hard to manage. Ben's Original markets this product as a family-friendly option. The ingredient list suggests it is a product engineered to appeal to children's palates while being sold to adults who assume they are making a reasonable dinner choice. If you are watching this and finding this investigation useful, please subscribe to UK Food Exposed right now and hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it is what allows us to keep doing this work. We are halfway through this list, and it is about to get significantly worse before it gets better. At number 2, we have Sainsbury's Taste the Difference Tikka Masala sauce. The name of this range is almost satirical in the context of this investigation. Taste the difference. The implication is clear. You are paying more because you will taste a meaningful improvement, but the ingredient list tells a different story. The base formula is water, tomato, modified starch, and rapeseed oil, identical in structure to every other sauce on this list. The cream content is 6%, which is higher than some competitors, but still represents a fraction of what a properly made tikka masala would contain. The salt content is among the highest of any product in this investigation at 1.4 grams per 100 grams. A jar used across a family meal delivers a sodium load that would concern any nutritionist looking at it in the context of regular consumption. The chicken content in Sainsbury's Taste the Difference. Chicken tikka masala ready meal variant is 23%. Less than a quarter of the product is the ingredient the dish is named after. The rest is sauce, and that sauce is primarily water and thickeners. You are paying a premium price for a product that is 3/4 filler. The Taste the Difference branding is not a quality guarantee. It is a pricing strategy. And it works because most shoppers extend the trust they have in the Sainsbury's name to the premium range without interrogating whether that trust is warranted. In this case, it is not. And here we are at number 1, the worst curry brand in this entire investigation, the one that represents the most complete failure of ingredient quality, nutritional honesty, and value for money. It is Tesco Everyday Value Curry Sauce. At approximately 60 pence per jar, this product sits at the absolute floor of the market, and the ingredient list reflects every compromise that floor demands. The first ingredient is water, the second is modified maize starch, not tomatoes, not onions, not any aromatic base. The second ingredient is an industrial thickener. The curry flavor is delivered almost entirely through curry powder, which is itself a British invention that bears limited resemblance to the complex, layered spice blends used in actual Indian cooking. The sugar content is high. The salt content is high. The actual spice content is negligible. The texture is gelatinous in a way that several reviewers have described as closer to gravy than curry sauce. But here is what makes this product number 1 on this list, rather than simply the cheapest option. It is who buys it. Families on tight budgets who are trying to put a hot meal on the table reach for this jar because it is what they can afford. And what they are getting for that 60 pence is water, starch, and synthetic flavoring with a salt and sugar load that actively works against their health. That is not a value product. That is the exploitation of price sensitivity dressed up as affordability. Tesco has the scale, the buying power, and the margin across its broader business to make this product better. They have chosen not to, and the people who can least afford to absorb that choice are the ones making it every week. So what should you actually buy? Because this investigation is not complete without an honest answer to that question. The first recommendation is Geeta's Premium Mango Chutney and Curry Sauces. Geeta's is a British Indian brand that has maintained genuine recipe integrity throughout its growth. The spice content is real and present in meaningful quantities. The ingredient lists are shorter than every product reviewed in this investigation. The salt content is controlled. The sugar, where present, comes from natural sources rather than added refined sugar. Geeta's is not perfect, but it is operating to a genuinely different standard than the mainstream brands, and the flavor reflects that difference immediately. The second recommendation is Bowl Foods Curry Sauces. Bowl is a relatively recent entrant to the UK market, and its curry sauces represent what the category could look like if ingredient quality were the primary design principle. The vegetable content is high. The spice blends are constructed from whole spices rather than spice powders. The salt content is among the lowest of any mainstream curry sauce available in UK supermarkets. The ingredient lists are transparent and short. You pay more for Bowl. You are getting more for that money in every measurable sense. The third and most honest recommendation is to make your own. A basic curry sauce made from onions, garlic, ginger, tinned tomatoes, and a spice blend of cumin, coriander, turmeric, and garam masala takes 20 minutes and costs less per portion than most of the jars reviewed in this investigation. The nutritional outcome is incomparably better. The salt is controlled. The sugar is absent. The spices are present in quantities that actually deliver the anti-inflammatory benefits that turmeric, cumin, and coriander are genuinely associated with in peer-reviewed research. The jar is convenient. The convenience comes at a cost that goes beyond the price on the label. Here is the pattern that runs through every brand on this list. The products that perform worst are the ones where the marketing investment is highest relative to the ingredient investment. The brands spending the most on packaging, positioning, and premium range labeling are consistently the ones delivering the least in the jar. That is not a coincidence. It is a business model. When you can charge a premium for a label rather than for a product, the rational corporate decision is to invest in the label. The ingredient list is where that decision becomes visible. And it is visible on every jar reviewed in this investigation for anyone willing to look. Read the label before you buy. If modified starch appears in the first 3 ingredients, the sauce has been built around a thickener rather than around food. If the salt content exceeds 1 gram per 100 grams, the flavor is being constructed through sodium rather than through spice. If the cream content in a Tikka masala is below 10%, the creaminess is synthetic. And if the spices appear at the bottom of a 20-item ingredient list, they are present for the label rather than for the dish. British families deserve curry sauce made from real ingredients at prices that reflect honest manufacturing rather than marketing budgets. Until these brands are held to that standard, the least you can do is stop buying the ones that are taking advantage of your trust. If this investigation changed how you look at the curry aisle, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to UK Food Exposed and ring the bell so you never miss when we expose what is really on British supermarket shelves, because you deserve to know exactly what you are buying. Thanks for watching.